My digital literacy went something like this. Facebook, Blackboard, Facebook, Blackboard, MySlice, Facebook, Yahoo Mail, Google, Facebook, Perez. I most definitely knew how to use the internet, but I'd never really written anything of meaning on there. So my digital growth was experienced most here on my first blog. Not only did I learn how to create a space that was strictly my own, which is something you can't do with the combines of Facebook, MySpace, or whatever, given the already established aesthetic doctrines. So I developed a distinct digital voice on my blog, however brash and obnoxious it may have been. So here it is. I'd always said people with blogs were assholes. This is right around the same time I was saying Twilight and True Blood were for assholes. And before I know it, I too was a twihard fangbanger and had read all the books, cruised all the fanfare websites, and shrieked about my love for Edward Cullen and Eric Northman, and that I was never going to take the bang bus to disappointment again with a mere mortal. But that's another story entirely. Like teenage vampire love, I took a leap of faith and started a blog, and before I knew it, I was in way over my head. It started off innocently enough. What do I like? Fashion, art, asinine obsessions with famous people who don't know I exist. You know, pretty much the usual. So why not start a blog and talk about these things obnoxiously? Sign me up, bud. What I was really doing was joining the ranks with all the other overempowered amateurs in the digital world. I started blogging regularly, and by regularly I mean like a fucking million times a day. I was in school at Syracuse University and hipsters had taken over campus. From my reverse snobbery hilltop, I reveled in the fact that I'd been blessed attending high school in a metropolitan area, Toronto, and that I'd gotten the neon beanies and Justin Bieber haircuts out of my system already. So I started a blog to prove my superiority over, well, the rest of mankind. In reality, I'm just a turd in the herd. So I'd read Vogue and W, and these mediums were always referencing blogs. So why not start one of my own where I could complain about my allergies to bad style and all my other quote-unquote interests? A spread I liked in W? Check. An image of a girl making a kissy face in a photo that was totally idiotic? Check. Constant uploads of my adorable baby puppy Wanda? Check. I was in college then, I was 21, and I'm in college now, and I'm 23, so my life is basically my laptop. Making a blog was easy because the internet is right here all the time, burning a hole in my little eye holes as we speak. Everyone is constantly referencing the internet, and, I mean, hell, I'm in class while I'm writing this. Fuck human interactions, right? So, it was an interesting experience. My blog, that is. I can't say I'd ever been as enthused about writing as I was in the first few months I had a blog. Designing it, finding ridiculous photos to accompany my even the more over-the-top posts. The time flew by. I all of a sudden had this outlet to talk about the things that I wanted to talk about. The more I started blogging, the more I started reading other people's blogs, and I gained information and influence from them. So a good friend of mine had a similar blog. Hers was mainly about fashion and men, and it soon became a pissing contest. We fed off of each other, talked back and forth about things to blog about, and gave each other ideas. And before I knew it, my blog had quite a few followers, and I was getting a lot of positive feedback. So, what do I do whenever I am doing something well? I screw it up and get super self-righteous and self-important, obviously. I decided to start making my blog more about my current love life, or lack thereof. And at that point, I was doing some relatively unsavory things in my free time, so it made for more than interesting conversation in my digital corner of the world. I started seeing this guy, who we'll call Buddy for the sake of anonymity. Buddy and I hung out for a few weeks, played house, rolled around, watched movies on the internet, pretty typical college shit. Then, Reba decided to do a number of very stupid things and got dumped by Buddy. So, what did I do with all my pent-up aggression and frustration? Blogged about it. I mean, what woman doesn't like talking shit about the guy that just dumped her? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, Buddy. So I took to my blog to write some underhanded posts about my now unrequited crush. At that point on my blog, I'd started writing funny lists about things that really irked me. Girls still wearing cowboy boots in 2010, having skunked hair, K-Fed fedoras, bros in their macho gazpacho, Ugg boots, really varied from day to day. I blame it on my Harriet the Spy phase in second grade that spurred my impulsive desire to observe. Back then, it was observing the color of your gloves. On my blog, it was observing all the reasons why you strangers piss me off. That, coupled with the fact that I was reading blogs like onboycrazy.com and Dear Coke Talk, helped me to develop a bloggerly voice that was as witty as it was condescending. Now that I wasn't playing house with Buddy, I had all the free time in the world to dabble on my blog and make my followers laugh with my antics. Never before had I had such an outlet. I wasn't just droning on the phone to my girlfriends. It was being written and in a sense eternalized on the internet. So, here came the post from a while ago that got me into trouble for the first time on my first blog. Keep in mind that I was slightly heartbroken and had just swan dived into a bottle of red wine when I wrote this. Okay, so I know I've touched on issues of hygiene before, but I'm going to have to get a little bit more specific now. As a dude that I would want to have premarital with, you're supposed to not give a shit about bathroom stuff. You should be clueless and wash your hair and your body and everything with 1 bar of soap. You're a dude, that's all you need. You shouldn't be spending 15 minutes perusing the shampoo aisles to get that perfect gleam on your tiny little head of hair. And I don't want to get into your shower or lurk in there and see what kind of business you're working with when you're asleep and find Herbal Essences, Curly Q, Princess Peach, Apricot, Sweet Smell, Baby Time shampoo sitting there. You fucking idiot. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You're a dude. Bare necessities. So while ducking into a dude's bathroom recently to use his mouthwash, I peeped his Open Mind You doc kit. So far so good. Razor, razor blades, toothbrush. Oh, what's that I see? A tube of Natural Glow face moisturizer? Are you kidding me? Nuh-uh, dude. That's one of those things that, 1, you shouldn't use, and 2, if you do use it, I never want to know about it. It's like your cucumber lotion. Slather that girly shit on in private, or else I will tell all my friends that you're a total douchebag for sure. Anyways, if you want that perfect bronze glow on your face, fine. But I want to think that you got it from chopping wood out back in the sun, or some other hyper-masculine thing that involves sweat. I don't want to know that you sat in front of a mirror and applied this stuff, using the little tan gauger on the back that tells you how many applications you are until you're blank tan. No fucking way, Jose. I want you to be totally ignorant to toiletries products and ask me stupid questions like, hey babe, can I put Vaseline all over my face? Or what if I put Carmex on my forehead? That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to single anyone out here, so to be fair, I'll say I've found these incriminating objects in 3 or 4 male bathrooms. Bottom line, never ever make it known or seen that you spend more money on toiletries than I do. For the love of God, I only use the PNC brand generic Cetaphil, and here you are with tanning moisturizer? The only excuse for that shit is if you enjoy cross-dressing or you are the situation. So, that's the end of the post. Not exactly ladylike, I know. And Buddy's feelings aside for just a second, here I am, venting into the World Wide Web from a wildly heteronormative perspective. Could I be any more stereotypical about gender? No, but let's look at the facts. I'm a white chick who likes scumbag asshole dudes. If you want to run on a treadmill and get a spray tan and you have a dick, that's cool. If you want to use Apricot, Sweet Time, Baby Lover, Flower, Power, Hair Gel, that's also cool. I just really don't want to French you. Different strokes for different folks. Lo and behold, old Buddy stumbled across my blog, read it, and was none too pleased. He played it off at first with a comment underneath saying he thought it was funny, but later he followed that up with a string of passive-aggressive texts calling me two-faced and conniving for ragging on all the dudes I've dated. Fair enough, Buddy. Bitch move on my part. Therein lies the first lesson I learned in my digital literacy. Everything you post on your blog is public, and people do read it. Not only do they read it, but there can be real consequences for things that happen in the digital sphere. Stupid Reba. I was no longer in a room in my house, jive talking with a friend about a dude. I was on the internet, searchable, talking about people who were reading what I was saying. I mean, I guess I kind of knew he'd read it, and that was part of the excitement, but the name-calling that ensued was not something I'd really bargained for. So my blog continued after that and became a character assassination, albeit a humorous one, at least in my mind, of the dudes I was currently or had dated. I developed a voice that was making people laugh and also feeding into college dating realities. But one too many posts hit too close to home for too many people, and I ended up shutting it down. It could have been my mental state at the time, my propensity for scumbag assholes, or just a desire to create something similar to the things I read on a regular basis. But I decided that my cute little blog had become a self-importance portal. Though it was making people laugh, my personal identity and my non-anonymity to the majority of my followers interfered and fostered real-life associations that made things a little uncomfortable. Long story short, people were reading about themselves. I never used names, though. And, anyways, they were getting pissed. Understandably so. I even blogged an open letter of apology to my male readers, albeit, again, a somewhat sarcastic one. I think I said something like, I'll give you some time to dry your baby eyes. Super sympathetic and genuine, eh? So, what does Reba think upon reflection? Well, that I'm a dick, and that he's a baby. And that after taking this class and reading the Howisher and Self article, becoming literate in the information age, there's definitely some similar stuff at play in my digital cherry-popping experience. They talk about blogs fading away, about having a lifespan. My blog obviously had a lifespan. Almost as quickly as I fell into the medium, I dragged myself out of it because of my real life and location directly affecting how my posts were read, and by the huge bummer consequences. Like Hausher and Self mentioned, my blogging overlapped and competed with pre-existing forms. I posted blog posts on Facebook. I texted people the same stories and told them to read it on my blog. And I even met in person with people where posts would come up and we would talk about them. Before blogging, I would have taken to Facebook and sent out a mass message to my closest girl and guy friends, more discreetly humiliating this guy. But now, lucky for him, I could post it somewhere where the whole world could read about his hygiene and how dumb I thought it was. It was offensive to him and potentially to a lot of other people. I'd found a place where I could write how I spoke, freely and brashly, but soon realized that not everything I said was going to be well received. Rather than just keep trucking, I decided to delete my blog and try to do real-life things, like homework or eating granola bars. Every time I see a bro doing something extremely bro-y, a pinstripe fedora, or a chick with blue eyeliner, I suppress the urge to undelete it and tell the internet how I feel. Alas, I'll revert back to the grade school saying, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Unless, of course, you start a new blog and develop a readership outside of your personal life. Okay, so how do I do this?